afternoon, everyone. Myself Shivangi Jaiswal on behalf of Educate Consulting and MIM Cosmos. Welcome you all. Today we are having Dr. Pooja Bell, ma'am, as a resource person for this management development program. And Dr. Pooja, ma'am, is will be delivering the management development program on brand mapping using MS Excel. She is an associate professor in Rukmani Devi Institute of Advanced Studies, New Delhi. She has 14 years of teaching experience and her areas of interest includes brand management, consumer behavior, advertisement and many more. She has various publications in Scopus and UGC Care General. She has conducted various MDP and FDP in brand management and quantitative and qualitative research. We welcome you, ma'am. So, ma'am, there are around 14 participants with us. We can start the program right now.
Yeah. I hope my screen is also visible, right?
Yeah, ma'am. Yeah, ma'am. It's visible.
Yeah. Good afternoon, everyone. I am Dr. Pooja. I am working as Associate Professor in Rukmani Devi Institute of Advanced Studies, New Delhi. I did my PhD long back in 2012, and my topic was influence of brand on consumer behavior. So in the same area, I keep on teaching subjects in relation to marketing, brand management, advertisement management, and consumer behavior. I have written several papers on consumer behavior as well as brand management. And to quote a few, my latest paper, recent paper, has been accepted and it is on consumer cosmopolitan, which is a very new subject, very new area. I have done work on green attitude also, which is again this paper was published in Scopus Review Journal. I'm working now on brand sacralization, and since 14 years, I have gained rich experience in my own areas. I try to explore my interest areas only. This could be my limitation, but I like to explore my areas only. I keep on coordinating with students and keep on pushing them to do more and more live projects, uh, gain up more experience in projects, do more and more practical application kind of projects. I am very confident. I am a good communicator. I am a very positive influencer. I know how to turn people, and I keep on twisting students' minds so that they attain their good objectives in life. I know how to manage my time appropriately, and I know very well how to put my knowledge, my skills, my information in the perfect way, in the most effective way. Hey, you might be wondering that since then I'm just keeping on saying about myself, myself, and myself. This is actually what we want to do in brand mapping. You know, everybody among us, either we try to brand ourselves, either we try to brand our company, our products, our services, whatever we know, we try to brand that. And this is what I was doing since so long period. I was just saying about myself that I'm this, I'm that, I'm this, I'm that, so that when I end up this MDP, I can ask you, I said that I am a good communicator. Do you feel that I'm a good communicator? And suddenly you say, no, you're not a good communicator. So this was something I thought I am. And when everything ended up, because you are very important to me, you are very critical to me, so I'm asking you that, am I a good communicator? I said that I have a good knowledge on brand mapping. I had good knowledge, good experience on brand management areas. I keep on exploring more and more areas on brand. So I said bluntly and very boldly, very strongly, that my areas of strong interest are brand. And when this MDP ends, you tell me, yes, brand is something that you have a very good, excellent fluence over this. So this is something brand mapping is. I hope the purpose behind brand mapping and why we do it, for what reasons we do it, is somewhat clear. Without wasting much of the time and without talking more about myself, I will be telling you how do we do brand mapping. What is the purpose of brand mapping? No, there are various tools through which you can do brand mapping. You can do upon your suitability, your comfort area. We will be discussing brand mapping concepts, process and significance, brand positioning statement, wherein you will be ready that this is your brand positioning statement, and you will be ready to portray it, aim it, and brand yourself. Brand mapping process. There are 7 elements of brand mapping process. So I have named them as slice yourself. We will be covering POP and POD. We will be covering benefits of brand mapping. We will be covering tips for creating brand perceptual maps, research methodology, research design, sample design, how to develop the questionnaire, and what are the basic tools through which you can apply brand mapping. I have already shared a data table with everyone, right? That data table is available to everybody, right? We will be practicing on that data table, and we will be using MS Excel for that. Whenever we are able to drop a result, I'll tell you that this is your result and how to interpret it. That is the most important part of brand mapping. How to use your positioning statement in the perfect way. And I will tell you that how you can create your implementation strategy as per your results. I have a very small quiz which I've already shared with you. I hope you all have done that quiz. And if by chance you have not done, it's okay. I'll be giving you some time to complete that quiz. And based upon the score, I'll let you know that these are the loopholes where you need to work upon your mapping areas. To start on with, the first slide. How, what, why, where. It means you can see the image, right? All umbrellas are black and one is popped up, that is yellow, right? So brand mapping is once among your all competitors, among your all different people whom you know of the same area, how much different you are, why you need to be different, for what you need to be different, and where, right? We all make our CV as professionals. We make our CV, right? The first thing which we write on in our CV is our objective, right? For example, if I portray myself, I say that I, with my experience, my knowledge, my information, want to achieve these blah things. So this is my objective, right? So through this statement, through this where I tell everybody that this is what I am. This is very much important, because if you are not going to do it for yourself, be sure that there would be somebody else who will be doing for you, and that would be more harmful. For example, now if I'm saying that I'm a good communicator, and if I don't tell you that if I am a good communicator through my CV or any of the other way, you will be putting your judgment areas on me. No, you're this and this and this. So it's very important that you brand yourself, you map yourself before anybody or everybody else then you does for you. This is a very small definition of brand mapping, that brand mapping is a visual display. It's a kind of a chart. It's very easy. It's just a kind of a chart which displays your whole data in one single piece, that shows that these are your potential customers, these are your customers, these are their perceptions about your brand, your relativeness, and your attributes. Shall I move on?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. The next one is ready, aim, brand. This is where your brand positioning or your brand mapping starts up. I have portrayed different ways that if by chance you are a CEO, this is your way. If you have a leading team to collaborate, you are excelling that team. You are the person who is leading that team. You know how to open up opportunities for different people. There's a different way. If you are an individual, you are a professional, you have a career. So how will you be ready, aim, and branding yourself? If you're a startup, brand mapping is the most important area for a professional person and a person who has a startup, right? So how can today's CEOs, startup founders, C-suite executives, and entrepreneurs act as role model for values and priorities they each suppose, while simultaneously shepherding initiatives from creation to implementation in high demand market environments. What does it take from the team? You have to provide your team an image that these are the opportunities, these are the areas where we need to work upon so that we take our business to the next level. As an individual, you need to have something unique in yourself so that you are able to sell yourself. Everybody sells ourselves. Even as a professional, you keep on selling yourself, either to the students, either to different institutes, or among your friends, your work people. As an business, or as a company, you keep on selling your products, your brands, your services, your areas, your experiences among each other. So, in a way, you are trying to have a sweet spot among all the different areas, that this is something you have and you need to work upon these areas. Any established small business can gain competitive advantage and grow through various reputations and referrals in a global marketplace if you have a strong statement about yourself. So, if a company is going to do something, how can you do? If you're an industry expert, what you need to show yourself? You can see the image. There is me, and this me is explained in a different way or in the same way. So, if you are an industry expert, you need to portray your image, you need to portray your identity, you need to portray your growth, links, references, connections, and different exposures at different levels and in different areas, right? If you're an academician, you need to explore, you need to tell people about your personal skills, your educational skills, your experience, your research skills, your areas of interest, your industry engagements, your knowledge, your projects, your positions, and your status. If you're an entrepreneur, you mind it, you have to convert your small little thing in a bigger way, right? So this brand mapping is very important for you. Why? Because your product is new, your service, your idea is new, your concept is new, which has to be outshined in among your all established competitors. If you are a student, very important, if you're a student, you need to tell that these are your technical skills, these are your job skills, these are your life projects through your CV, so that any industry person buys you. Why you need to tell people that why you. This is very quickly a 7 element brand mapping process. This is slice yourself, that you have to be sure that you go through all these 7 steps and make a statement for yourself. You try to map yourself, you try to brand yourself so that you are able to tell people that this is something you are. The you could be CEO. This you, when I'm again and again say you. So you can be a CEO, you can be an executive, you can be a startup, you can be a small business owner, you can be a job seeker, you can be an intact team or a business or anybody else. So before starting it, the first step is anchor statement. You know what is anchor statement? This is your go-to description of who you are, what you do, and sometimes you refer it to as your elevator pitch. That means if you are a company, your vision statement, your mission statement, and if you are an individual, then your objectives in your CV is your anchor statement, right? Anchor statement is the first thing that comes into anybody's career, into anybody's frame. I can judge you by your anchor statement. So you have to be very clear, very specific, that what are the things you are quoting up in your anchor statement. For example, Unilever, right? Unilever's vision statement is very clear that Unilever is a brand which wants to expand in rural India, not only in urban India, but also in rural India. So it's taking its up elevator pitch already very high, that I am a brand which is an Indian brand, which is a home focused brand, and I want to go into rural areas. In comparison to PNG, PNG's anchor statement or PNG vision statement clearly states that I want a global exposure, right? So PNG works upon global exposure, and that is basically a go-to description about PNG. So whatever you write in your CV as the first statement becomes your anchor statement, which has to be very well defined, so that by end of your CV, by end of your curriculum, you are being judged in an appropriate way. Unique brand positioning or proposition. This is very important. Why you? Anytime you go to a company, or anytime you're selling up your product, people ask you, why we should buy your product, what special thing you have, what unique thing, what distinct thing that you have and nobody else, so why you, right? So this is an answer towards unique brand proposition. You have to tell something about yourself which sets you very much apart, very much different from rest of your competitors. For example, Mountain Dew. Mountain Dew is a very good example for unique brand proposition. Every cold drink, every soft drink, either Coca-Cola, Pepsi, Thumbs Up, Limca, Fanta, they have a specific kind of taste. Mountain Dew turned up into the market, giving its unique brand proposition that I am very much different, I am very much unique, and very much distinct from rest of the comparative brands. Starbucks. Starbucks had a very different kind of competition. Starbucks thought that what specific should I have and nobody should have. So Starbucks tied up its own farms, right? Starbucks has its own coffee house farms where coffee is cultivated there, and they use their own coffee seeds, right? iPhone presented itself as a special and a status and a class kind of phone, wherein it tried to pitch up that this is my USP and this is my something which is something very different from rest of the competitors. Your brand tone and temperament. Where do we tell about ourselves, our products, our brands, our services? We tell these things through our brand tone and temperament. That is through our advertisements, through our connections, through intensity, how we portray ourselves. Your advertisement speaks about your mood, speaks about your tenor, speaks about your quality, speaks about your character. Any individual also advertise itself. We have so many platforms, we have so many social platforms where we keep on posting something about ourselves, so that we are able to clear that this is my tone and this is my temperament and this is something which I have. Brand energy, this is, in a term, it is connected to brand tone and temperament only. That is brand energy. Brand energy is your commitment. By end of your CV's objective, the last word that you write is brand energy. You write that I will do the best things for meeting up organizational goals and objectives. This is your brand energy. You try to make count your contributions, that I will be contributing these and these and these many things, so that you and your organization meets up all the challenges. Signature story. We tell it very firmly that these are my connections. This is what I like to do. When you deliver a lecture, you portray one kind of signature story to your students or to your audience. That is, why do you do? What do you do? What is your essential story? That is your feedback. Every student has formulated a feedback of you. That is your signature story, right? I told my students that this is something which I know very firmly. And when students turn back to me asking me favors on that particular area, is my signature story. So you need to be very firm as a company, as an individual, as somebody who possesses a brand, who is responsible for managing a brand, that you try to leave a signature story for yourself. For example, Harley Davidson. Harley Davidson has clearly stated its signature story that Harley Davidson is a particular, every bike is same. What's the difference Harley Davidson has? Is it the only price? Is this the only status? No. Harley Davidson's signature story is that Harley Davidson contributes towards charity program also, towards girl education also. This is their signature story, which is well defined by Harley Davidson. Signature services. Starbucks has led this core competences and offers very clearly. Whenever you buy a Starbucks coffee, they write your name on the mug, right? You click a picture and post it on your Instagram profiles, your Facebook profiles, or you show your nears and dears that, see, my name is written on Starbucks coffee. Look, this is what Starbucks is doing to you. Starbucks is actually selling its signature services, right? Starbucks is actually mapping his brand through you. He is just telling, he has just written your name, and he is telling that this is my thing, and you are selling Starbucks through your profiles. Brand enhancers and reducers. You all very know it very well. SWOT. Strength, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Let me clear you in a very appropriate way. If you have done your SWOT, that is strength, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, please do your toes also. What is toes? Toes is opposite. That is threats, opportunities, weaknesses, and strength, so that you enable yourself to map appropriately. If you have done SWOT of your company, you have very well defined that these are my strength areas, these are my weakness areas, these are my opportunities, and these are my threats. You are always stressing about your strengths under SWOT. But when you are doing toes, you are stressing upon your threats over any other thing, right? So you should be very much appropriate with what kind of enhancers and reducers you are using. Very interesting site. POP and POD. Look, when we are starting this brand mapping, please, this is something which acts as eye opener to you, right? I will be asking you for an activity in a while. You have to be very sure that you are including POP and POD in this, right? On one side, there is change me, and there is unique selling proposition, that is why choose you instead of your competitors. For brand mapping, when we say that you need to portray your 4 to 5 attributes, 4 to 5 variants, 4 to 5 variables, you have to be very sure that among these 4 to 5, few are your POP and one is certainly your POD, right? POD means point of difference. That is something which only you have and nobody else has. So which makes you different from rest of the people. Only then you will be able to do brand mapping. Is that clear? Shall I move on?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I'll move on. This is unique selling proposition. What an interesting snakes, One is a normal snake and one is V, right? So this is something which I'm asking you to create for yourself. You always have to be something different, you have to show the world, no, this is a thing that you have and nobody has. Only then you will be able to sell yourself to your appropriate buyers, to your appropriate customers. Only then your customers will value you. USP: specialized backgrounds, education, training, experiences you possess. I will be just giving you up an exercise now. So you have to ensure that you're writing any of these things in between, right? Either you are writing specialized backgrounds, either you are writing your education in a very fancy way, you're writing your trainings, your experiences, you are telling about your detailed process that you have created with your clients, you're telling your specific talents which sets you apart from rest of the competitors, from rest of your colleagues, from rest of your brands and products and services. You have something content, we all need this content very urgently. You have an industry, you have something which you expertise and you experience in, you have unique solution to a common problem. Like I said, that I help students in getting life projects, so I am just telling them a path, that this is your path, and I tell them that this is something which you can have. So this is something which I am adding upon my skills, that I am expert in getting life projects, something you do or offer that is hard to imitate and replicate. It's in this competitive environment, any now and then you will get a competitor who is trying to copy you, राइट? आज आपने एक रिसर्च पेपर लिखा, इस जर्नल में वो पब्लिश हो गया, सडनली यू विल फाइंड योर कोलीग्स publishing in the same journal, right? So you have to show something which only you have and nobody else can even imitate on. So their own startups do something very creative, they start up doing something which nobody can replicate upon, right? A very small activity for you. Please, I want you to do this activity in just 2 minutes. I'm giving you 2 minutes time. What this activity is, pick out a sheet of paper, right? Yes, I mean a real one. Pick out a sheet of paper, make 5 columns, right? I need to, you need to do only the first column as of now. That is your attributes, right? So that we are able to do brand mapping for ourselves. We are able to justify that we are able to do or we are not able to do. Quickly, what you can include in this, I've given you hints that you can include your line of work, your experiences, your public contacts, your writing skills, your, if you by chance you're into writing a blogs, books or articles, you can write up your knowledge, you can even include your LinkedIn profiles, you can even tell about that these are your experiences in these and these many industries. You can tell about your branding, your marketing activities, including your website development, your PR placement, your ghost writing stories. Just tell me something about yourself, only 5 attributes which fit your personality, your style, and your ways of working. Shivangi, you can just ask everyone to write up in the chat box that they are done and they are not done.
Okay, ma'am.
Just in the chat box quickly in 2 minutes, you just need to write, I'm done, I'm done, I'm done. I'm not asking you to show your what you have written, right? You just need to tell, yes, I'm done, I have done this, I've completed this first column of my activity. And Shivangi, you can help me tell that there are few dones and there are few not dones yet.
Okay, ma'am.
Are there dones coming, Shivangi?
No, ma'am.
Quickly. You just need to write 5 attributes of yourself that this is something you have. You are a very good leader. You have a very good command. You know how to sell your product. You have good advertisement skills. You know very well who your competitors are. So having thorough knowledge about your competitors is also kind of attribute. Your products or your brands are good in quality, are good in price, are affordable.
Ma'am, two done receive. Appu sir and Sonal.
Oh, thank you so much. Only 5 things. You should be able to portray at least 10 things about yourself in 10 seconds. If you are not able to do for yourself, I'm telling you, somebody else will be doing for yourself. So if I know that Apu sir and Sonal ma'am has done, so for the rest of the people, I'm creating stories. Oh, he's not doing. He might not be doing.
Sadhvir sir done.
Oh, thank you, Sadhvi sir. Fast. You need to show me your presence. That this is you are here. Fast. Shivangi, shall we carry on?
Yeah, ma'am. Vivekanand
Yeah.
sir done. Rohit sir done.
Oh, that's good. This is something which I wanted you to tell about yourself. Do you have any owl which is ulta in your list of attributes? I mean, something which only you have and nobody else has. Do you have something this? If you have something about opposite latka hua wala owl, then it means that this brand mapping is definitely going to help you out. Then it means that actually you are in the process of brand mapping. You have something which you know is your POD. You know that this is your USP and this is something which you are only going to sell upon and nobody else can ever possess this. So brand maps provide a myriad of information. You tell that these are your competitors, and through brand mapping you are able to judge that. You said that Samsung is your competitor. No, where Samsung is not your competitor. So through all these information through brand mapping, you are able to judge that you listed out 10 owls, and these are the people who are not even in your competition list, right? Why? Because your one attribute was something which only you had. One attribute was POD, only you had and nobody else had. You were able to identify perception of your individual brand. You know, a person says, Unilever says that I am available in rural India also, right? In any kind of rural area you can name and you will find a Unilever product there. So this is Unilever's perception. Unilever will try to identify it and map it, that is that seriously there, that only in rural areas only I am there and PNG is not there, right? So through brand mapping you are able to identify that this is something you perceived upon and this is something which you were taken about. Understand how individual brand is compared to its competitors. I told you to list down 5 attributes, right? So now you need to make it sure that these 5 attributes are able to portray your personality and how much different you are from your competitors. Brand mapping also helps you to portray that this is your closest competitor, and this person or this company or this brand or this product or this services nowhere even lies in my line of competition. So if you have 10 competitors in your industry, through brand mapping you need to focus that this is only the person Who is my actual competitor? Rest are not my competitors. So through brand mapping, you can portray that these are my closest competitors and rest are not my closest competitors, so that you do focused objectives. You are able to identify your biggest differentiating factors. You said that helping students in getting live project is your USP, but all the people for whom you are selling yourself, they don't assume that this is something which is USP, right? So your USP is vanished here only. So you need to focus that this is my unique selling proposition, which is very much distinct, which is very much different. So I need to identify this is something which I have, and people should know that this is something only I have and nobody else than me has. It even able to help you to associate with all the positive as well as negative things. When you have written about your attributes, I'm sure that you have not written anything which is negative, right? You have not written anything which is negative. But mind it, when you are starting upon brand mapping for the next step, you need to portray something which is negative. For example, I say I am short tempered, right? So this is something which negative element I think about myself, but my people or my customers, my audience, my clients, they don't think that I am short tempered. They believe that I am very much patient, right? So you need to portray that these are your negative as well as positive things, so that you are able to map up appropriately. These are few of the tips for creating brand perceptual maps. You need to have white space and clear area. White space means you have listed 10 competitors, right? You can see in the picture there are so many people sitting, only one is in red. So this red person needs to know that this is my white space, this is only my area, rest is clear area. Like, I am confident, this is only me who is confident. My brand has XYZ good feature which nobody else has. For example, Starbucks gives an area to its customers wherein they can listen good music, right? Starbucks even provides books. It even has a bookstore within, whereon you can pick up the book and you can read the book there itself, which nobody else does. So this is something where Starbucks knows that this is my area and nobody else ever can have this area. Who are your main competitors? You have list of 100 competitors. For example, the college where I work in, it has 43 faculties. Now rest of all the faculties are my competitors. But I need to know that these are my main competitors. You know, if you don't have competition, you cannot grow. Why we need to have competitors, or why we need to have knowledge about our competitors? Because I need to grow myself. So you need to grow yourself, your product, your brand, your service, your industry, yourself. Then you should know that these are your competitors. If current marketing messages are not clear and very much effective, you need to show that these are your marketing messages through your objectives, through your vision statement, through your mission statement, through your advertisements, or XYZ parameters or ways which you have selected for yourself. What changes need to be made to our messaging in order to differentiate ourselves from our competitors? You need to change your objectives every day, right? So that you're able to differentiate yourself from your competitors. You cannot change your vision and mission statement every time. Yes, but you can change your perception criteria there and now, so that you are able to portray your message in a different way. This is brand mapping layout, right? If you can look onto the picture, one area is high and another area is low. For now, please make it a point, whenever you are doing brand mapping, you're locating two variables at one time. You are locating two variables only at one time, but you will be taking at least 8 to 10 variables, राइट जैसे अभी आपने 5 पैरामीटर्स अपने 5 एट्रीब्यूट्स लिखे हैं, लेकिन आप दो को पहले कंपेयर करोगे, राइट? वन इज हाई एंड लो. फॉर एग्जांपल, आई से प्राइस हाई, प्राइस लो, availability high, availability low, so that I'm able to map up, right? I'll carry on with research methodology. If there are any doubts, let me know. If no, then I'll continue with research methodology.
No doubts, ma'am.
No doubts. Right. I'll quickly catch on to research methodology. This research methodology of brand mapping is somewhat different from the rest of the research methodologies that you have studied upon, right? Why? Because brand mapping is done on the result comes on a chart, right? It just comes up in one single page wherein you need to analyze that these are the things and these are the interpretations. So research methodology for brand mapping is somewhat different. It's an exercise which you can even conduct on isolation. If by chance you don't want that you go into deeper research, you don't want to gather on 1000 feedbacks, you just want 10 people to answer about yourself, you can even do this in 10 people. But that would be just a presentation. That won't be a particular analysis. That will be just a project that you do for yourself, not a very far exercise. But if you want to do it for a far exercise for deeper understanding, you need to have an appropriate research methodology designed for yourself. I have, for better understanding, I have divided this in few steps, right? The first step is whatever brands you are including should be similar and ideally same, right? What I mean by this is I will be showing you up an example. I've even taken the same example for data table which I've shared with you. I have taken automobiles, right? I've taken cars as an example. But what cars I was comparing were Maruti, Honda, then Tata, right? So I was comparing all the brands which are similar. I never took BMW, Mercedes in between. So this is the first thing that you have to do, that when you are trying your competitors which you are taking should be ideally between 5 to 8. It should not be more than 8 and it should not be less than 5. So 5 is the minimum size and 8 is the maximum size. Then all your competitors should be on same bench. So, for example, when I say that I have 43 colleagues in my college, not all 43 can be my competitor, right? It could be only 4 or 3 or 5. In total, 8, not more than 8, right? The list of brand attributes should be decided. You should not change this brand attributes list. So, for example, Maruti is doing its brand mapping. Maruti should be very clear that these are my list of attributes which I am trying to compare, right? These attributes should not shift on while you are doing up the exercise. And these attributes should include negative as well as positive as well as neutral attributes, right? So if I say status might be something which is negative for Maruti, right? Maruti might not result up into a very high brand kind of status, but it could be negative also. Or if I say advertisement, or if I say culture, right? So I'm taking few of the attributes which are neutral, negative, and positive. So when you are collecting up the attributes, you should be very sure that you are taking mix of attributes. You are not taking only good, hanky-panky kind of attributes for yourself. These attributes should be relevant to the brand and to the market. You should try, because this is a deeper exercise which you do once. And so when you're doing it for once, you should try that all the attributes which you are taking are relevant, are logical, are not illogical. You're not just taking any kind of attribute which does not even suits your brand, right? So try to take a relevant attribute for comparison which is suitable for market, which is there in competitors also. You should take attributes, which attribute should be more than brands for better analysis. The attribute should be more than brands for better analysis. So if by chance you are taking 5 attributes, right? You are taking 5 attributes, you should take in comparison 8 to 10 brands, right? So it should be more. The attribute should be more than the competitors. So if you are taking, I've taken data table of 5 competitors, right? But if you see y axis were more than number of competitors. So number of attributes should be more than your number of competitors. The question should be constructed in then asking which attribute is most associated with each of the respondents. So attribute should be something which you can connect upon, right? Putting the questions into the field, sample size should be 200 minimum and 1000 maximum. Okay, so when you are taking up the collection sample size, please, in brand mapping, if you are doing a deeper and a proper study, sample size should be 200 minimum and 1000 should be the maximum. It should not increase 1000, and the minimum sample size is 200. And then with these response or this respondents should be the people who actually know you, right? Either they have used your product or they know you. Yeah,
Pooja ma'am,
any doubts? Yes, yes,
Pooja ma'am, I have to attend one important meeting.
yes, sir.
I'm leaving. I'm very thankful to you, even though marketing is not my domain, but
Oh,
still I
thank you
wanted to
so
learn
much, sir.
something new.
Yes,
Thanks
sir.
to Shivani ma'am for arranging this workshop. I would like
Thank
to
you so
attend
much, sir.
future workshops by you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So I'll continue. So 8 to 10, your number of attributes should be more than your competitors. So if you are taking the number of competitors as 5 to 6, then your attribute should be more. Number of responses, 200 is the minimum and 1000 is the maximum. Research methodology, number of competitors can be 2 or can be 8. Number of variables have to be more. For example, if you are taking 4 competitors, number of variables are 6. So on 6 parameters, you will be doing a brand mapping. How to select parameters? We have very well done it. You should include positive, negative, and something which is exclusive that your product has and nobody else has. The questionnaire statement can be quantitative or qualitative depending upon your knowledge, your respondents' response, their increment towards how well they can understand your questionnaires. Sample size already conveyed, 200 to 1000. Scale, this is very much important. Please always take 5-point Likert scale, right? You should not work upon brand mapping using 3-point scale or anything beyond 5. You should not work upon 7-point scale. 5 is the best design scale for brand mapping research methodology. X and Y axis, X axis and Y axis are the variables. You need to compare different variables in together. So when you are comparing, you need to put one variable always on X axis and one variable on Y axis. So you will be comparing always X axis to Y1, Y2, Y3 and Y4. For example, I am taking price as X axis. So I'm taking comparing price with quality, price with attributes, price with availability, price with status, price with any XYZ other variable, right? Questionnaire. Quickly, we'll come over to the questionnaire. You know, it's a very clever way of spinning yourself. Through questionnaire only, you can do the most clever exercises. This is the format of questionnaire, right? I have given few of the hints. For example, if you are doing a survey on shoes, so these are likely determinants and attributes which you can include. If you are doing instant coffee, um, your survey is upon instant coffees, so you can take flavor, taste, country of origin, variety, and quality as the attribute area. If you're doing your survey on breakfast cereals, you can take healthiness, sugar level, variety, fun, boring factor in your criteria, in your parameters. Holiday destinations, though it's very tough, I think, for an year to do a survey upon holiday destinations. But then, if you're doing a survey on holiday destination, you can include temperature, travel distance, culture difference, facilities, and any your mood, your experiences under holiday destinations. Camera, you can take upon features as zoom, memory, size, weight, and picture quality. List the main competitors in the product category. Create scores for these brands, and the simplest way is use 1 to 0.125 ratings scale. So when I draft questionnaire for this, my first question would be, for example, you're doing your survey on Maruti, right? So your first question would be exactly, do you know what is Maruti? Yes, no. This is a basic question that you need to ask. Your second question would start with your attributes. So second question would be, do you think Maruti is good in price in comparison to its competitors? Number two, do you think Maruti is good in availability in comparison to rest of the competitors? And so on, you will list upon all the attributes like this. What do you perceive about price of the following brands? You can ask either in this way, or you can ask in this way, what do you perceive about service of the following brands? You can see I have listed upon 5-point Likert scale only. Any doubts in questionnaire? Look, for brand mapping, the first most important thing is questionnaire. If you are clear with the questionnaire, you can very well, if data generation is not right, you cannot move forward. So data generation would be only right if data collection way is appropriate. Any doubts?
Ma'am, excuse me, ma'am.
Yes,
No,
sir.
ma'am. Please go ahead.
Yes, sir.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Ma'am, this is Apu from Chennai, Tamil Nadu.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Ma'am, whether brand mapping will be brand mapping can also use for consultancy projects?
Yes, sir. For anything, whatever you are doing.
Okay.
I am teaching, I can do brand mapping on that also, right? Whenever you are selling yourself in any of the way, right? When you are doing consultancy projects also, many people, they take up companies' projects on brand mapping. They help companies to map their brands. For example, if you have good links with any XYZ company, you can ask that company that, shall I do your brand mapping? So in a way, you can get up a project for that company. I hope I made it
Oh, yeah, I understand, ma'am. Whether just like a research work, whether we have to go and check about that validity, is it necessary for branding?
validity
Let's say, for checking our questionnaire part, is it necessary? Because in
No,
our
sir.
regular, okay, there is no need for checking
No.
our content validity, not like that.
Not at all, sir. Research
Okay,
methodology for brand mapping is completely different, right?
different. Okay,
Because you're doing something on MS Excel, though there are many other softwares also, but this is something with wherein you don't need to check your validity. You are taking any kind of attribute which you think is the most important one.
okay,
This is your perception. That is why we call it even your perceptual map.
okay, ma'am. Understand.
Yes, sir. Any other doubts? Shall I carry on? Right. So these are few of the tools through which you can do brand mapping. You can even do brand mapping through SPSS. You can even do brand mapping through MS Excel. We will be practicing it through MS Excel. SPSS is recommended when you have data of 1000 respondents, right? So SPSS helps in converting all those data in a very fast, quicker way. So then you can use SPSS. But if you have data collection of 100 to 200 respondents, you can very well do in Excel. Then you even have Minitab. So there are, because you're doing a perceptual map, so you're just drawing up customers perception. So single map and complex maps can be used. Brand mapping is also known as perceptual mapping. It is also known as correspondence analysis. Learning brand mapping to MS Excel, the very first thing is you need to look on your gaps. You will be able to identify the gap areas. You will be able to analyze that these are the impacts of your campaigns. You are able to analyze that these were the hypothetical statements that you have made, you have drawn for your brand, and these hypothetical statements turn up to be wrong. You can help your customers to understand your brand in an appropriate way. You can check ground reality of your brand. For example, you always dream big about your brand, about yourself, that you are this, you are that, you are offering such kind of quality services. So you can actually check upon ground reality of your particular things. You can track preference changes. You can see that who are your new competitors and what are the XYZ new products which are coming up into the market. Step 2, you are able to narrow down the attributes. You have listed 20 attributes for your plan. You have listed 20 attributes for your particular product or service. But customers perceive in a different way. So you are able to narrow down, look, these are only 10 important attributes which you should focus upon through your advertisement, and you should leave rest of the attributes because they are not at all important. For example, you think packaging is something which exclusively only you have and nobody else has, but your customers, your respondents, they don't feel so. So you can narrow down the attributes. Competitor study, you can list down that these are your closest competitors and rest of the competitors are not at all important. So you can leave all the rest of the competitors. Next step, how to create a brand perceptual map. You will be doing this by 3 of the ways. Number 1 could be your personal experience about your existing market. Number 2 could be your secondary research. And number 3 is your primary research. Perceptual map using MS Excel. As I've told you earlier, that we will be taking 2 axes. Number 1 would be your x-axis and number 2 would be your y-axis. So always put one particular attribute on x-axis. Do not shuffle this, right? This particular x-axis factor should be the most important factor for you. You should not change this most important factor from x-axis, and y-axis are rest of the factors. So if I'm doing a study of Maruti Suzuki, I'm taking price as an x-axis factor, and rest are availability, service channel, build quality, advertisement, etc. Next, very much important is bubble size. I'll show you how this bubble size keeps on changing. This bubble size is collected from secondary data. Secondary data could be your market size, your market share, your sales potential, your profit ratio, your advertisement expenses, right? Bubble size should be taken from secondary data, and it could be anything. For example, for me, my market share is the most important thing. So I will be taking market share as an example for this. Any doubts? Because we will be practicing now. We are
No, ma'am.
taking x-axis, y-axis, and bubble size. These are few of the charts. I will be coming up to this slide afterwards once we have practiced through MS Excel. I request everybody to open up your MS Excel now. I think screen is visible.
Yes, ma'am, it's visible.
Right. So we will be doing hands-on practice now. Look, this was the data which I have collected. This data as of now is for 102 respondents, just a raw data so that we can practice it, right? I'll show you the questionnaires, the statements which I took in questionnaire. I took, please rate the following characteristics on a scale of 1 to 5 as how much you are ready to buy this car, right? Then the first question of my attribute was, what do you perceive about the price of the following brands? So first I took Maruti Suzuki, then I took Hyundai, then I took Tata Motors. The next question was about service channel. So on the same frame, do not change your frame of questions. On the same frame, I took, what do you perceive about service channel of the following brands? So I took Maruti as the first brand, then I took Hyundai, then I took Tata Motors, and so on. My next question was about build quality. What do you perceive about build quality of Maruti brand? Then I asked about rest of the brand, right? I will be taking 5 brands for comparison. Next question I asked about brand name. What do you perceive about brand name of Maruti Suzuki, right? Then the competitors question. So this was the data which I collected upon. What I did was, you all have this table with yourself, right? Are we together?
Yes.
Are we all? Yeah. So first of all, the first step is go on insert. You'll find other charts. You'll find bubble chart here. Select bubble chart. Are we together? Now click on this bubble chart. Select data. This is the table you have, right? If we are not together, please let me know that I'll make my speed a bit slower. Go on add. The first is series name. Series name here means brand name, right? So I will be selecting Maruti Suzuki here. Second is your x-axis. I told that I will be comparing price. So I've taken price. Next is y-axis. As of now, I'm taking availability. The fourth one is bubble size. I told you that bubble size is on your secondary data, right? Either you are taking your market share, you are taking your profit size, you are taking your advertisement expenses, whatever, but on your secondary data. For as of now, I have taken this as market share. Okay, right? Again, go on add. I will be adding another competitor now. X-axis, Y-axis, and the market share of Hyundai. Okay, adding more. We all are together. Tata Motors is the next series name, next brand which I'm going to compare. I'm taking price. The next value is Y, which is availability. And last one is market share. So I asked my respondents that what do they feel about Tata Motors in comparison or in a validity of price. The next brand, I'm taking Mahindra. X-axis, because it has to be permanent. 30 respondents said that price of Mahindra & Mahindra is appropriate. Y-axis, right? And the last one, market share. Okay, the last one. We all are together. Honda. The next one is X-axis, price. 42 people believe that might be a problem with, right, this one. The last one is bubble size, 4.8 market share of Honda. Okay, this is something we have got. Everybody together? Everybody is together, right? Click on X-axis. Right. Click on X-axis like this, right? Right click. You'll find axis options here. No, we did not go. Are you able to click on your X-axis? You'll find format axis, right? Go on this. You'll find this table. We need to change this. Look, in your data, you'll find that minimum is, if by chance I take on this Maruti's data, minimum is 17, right? I will be taking 0. Maximum, if you just see on to the data of X-axis, it is 42. So I will take 45 so that I'm able to divide in an appropriate way, right? After this, go to axis labels, click none, go to axis value. Axis value is half of your range, right? So from 0 to 45, I've taken it as 22. Close it. Okay. Now come on to your y-axis in the same way. you were able to do for your x-axis, right? Y-axis is here. Go on format axis. Again, go on fixed. Write it as again 0. If by chance you see, minimum here is 25, right? I will be taking it as 0 only, so that I'm able to divide properly. It's just as per convenience. You can take it according to your data. Axis value, I just took it so that I am able to divide it appropriately. So axis value is something which is mid-size. Close. So this is your table which has emerged, right? I'll go on to insert. Okay, click on here. You'll find format data series. Click on any bubble. Click on format data series. You'll find this. Close it. Click again. Now you will have a point as add data label, right? Go on add data label. Select series name here. Unselect Y value. I want the name to be written in center. So I click this, close it. So you can see Maruti Suzuki name here. Similarly, go on another, right click, add data labels. It will come 27. Again click it. You will find format data labels is there. Click there. Go on series name. Unselect Y value. Again, I want it to be written in the center. The next one, add data labels. You'll find 25 is written there. Format data labels. Go on series name. Unselect Y value. Again, I want to be written in the center and close. The next one, add data labels. Again, go here, format data labels. Go on series name, unselect Y value, pick on center, close. The last one, add data labels. You'll find 35 is written here, which is your Y value. Format data labels. Go on series name, unselect Y value. If you won't unselect Y value, that 35 would be written there only, right? Close. So this is something what you have. Any doubts? Any doubts? No. You can change as many colors or as many shapes you want, right? This is the easiest, and you can decorate it in your way, in whatever way you want it to be decorated. I want to insert names now. because I am not able to understand what is where and what actually is connoted where. So I'll add on label here. I told there are two axes, one is higher side and one is lower side. Price high. Okay. I'll add on one more shape here. I'll write here price low. Done. I'll add on one more because I need two more shapes to be added. I'll go here. I'll write here availability. High. You have to be sure that what corner you are selecting as high and what corner you are selecting as low. Right? I'm adding one more one more shape here as availability low. I'm writing here availability low. I'm just decorating it. You can do as you want. I'm just making it more visible, more broader. See, here are different kinds of bubbles. You can select any kind of bubble you want, right? You can select your own kind of chart layout any way you want. I don't want any grids. I'm changing this grids. I want chart title, which was not there yet. So I am writing here perceptual map. Right? I want this to be somewhat particular. So I'm just changing it. I'm filling a solid fill here. I want it to be bright in color. I did yellow, right? You can do as the way you want. You can even change the colors of bubbles here. So this is your result. So easy, no? Any doubts as of now? Any doubts? Any step which was not clear? We'll start with interpretation now. Shivangi, can I move on? Shivangi, can I move on? Are there any doubts? Are there any doubts? Shall I move on?
Yes, ma'am, we can move on.
I lost you. I thought that screen is not visible and I'm just teaching myself since then. So now we need to understand it. Look, the very first thing, which was Maruti Suzuki felt, perceived that it has good availability, right? But in the result, it showed up that availability is low of Maruti Suzuki. But if you look onto the market scenario as such, you'll make it sure that Maruti Suzuki is a such kind of brand which is available very highly. You can find Maruti's car anywhere and everywhere, and you'll never fall short of the cars. But as per the customers or as per the respondents whom you have asked, they have said that availability of Maruti Suzuki is low. So there is some problem between your respondents and your availability. So it might be so that 100 respondents from which you have gathered up your data, they might be facing some problem regarding the availability. So you need to check on your availability criteria in particular customer segment only, right? If another important thing in this is to list down, see, this Tata Motors and M&M, Mahindra and Mahindra, are very close. They fall in the same quadrilateral. There are four quadrilaterals which are divided, and Tata Motors and MMN are in the same column. It means that there is very close competition between Tata Motors and MNN. The respondents are not able to, you know, desimilarize. They are not able to differentiate much between Tata Motors and M&M, right? If you look on to Hyundai and Honda, again they are similar, but these two brands are very far from Maruti as in the scene of availability and price. So if you just look on to the market share also, Maruti's market share is much higher than Hyundai. That is why bubble size is different. Maruti's bubble size is the largest one in comparison to Tata Motors, in comparison to M&M, in comparison to Honda, and in comparison to Hyundai. So bubble size keeps on changing as per your secondary data which you have considered or which you have focused upon. Any doubts? We can come up with the doubts. If there are no doubts, I'll go back to the presentation. Look, this is the perceptual map which actually we have derived. I have just changed it a bit more. I have just added a more texture so that it just looks more beautiful. You can change up your colors as per your requirements. There are very different ways of showing your brand mapping perceptual map. You can change it as per your requirements. Yeah. Any doubts? Shall I move on? I'll come back to the presentation. Yes, this slide. Look, there are different ways of presenting your brand mapping perceptual map. You can select any of the way you feel like. The only thing is you need to analyze these bubbles, right? If you just seek upon this center 1, there are no bubbles in this quadrant. There are no bubbles in this quadrant. It means that there are no competitions in this basic areas. So if you want to explore or if you want to try on something good, you can anytime select upon, or you can anytime explore or expand your areas in this area. Similarly here, this is a positioning map of healthy drinks, right? It was upon more taste, less taste, more healthy, less healthy. So there are no brands which are under the category of less healthy and less taste. So if by chance you want to expand your brands, you want to come over with more brands, you can anytime select upon any good areas, right? Similarly, there are other ways in which you can show up your brands. Shall we move on?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, this is result interpretation and analysis. So you need to interpret and analyze your result on 3 basic criteria. Number 1 is value analysis. Number 2 is competitive analysis. And number 3 is opportunity analysis. Under value analysis, you try to frame up that what is the parameter which is the most important parameter. Under competition analysis, you try to frame out that these are your competitors and this is not at all your competitor. So in that particular chart, we could figure it out that Maruti Suzuki can very well leave Honda as a competitor and Hyundai as a competitor, right? So these two brands are nowhere in the list of competition for Maruti Suzuki, so it can very well leave it. Opportunity analysis, as you can feel that availability is something which Maruti Suzuki really needs to work upon. So because availability is perceived to be low by Maruti for Maruti Suzuki, so Maruti Suzuki should work upon availability of Maruti cars in the market so that more and more opportunities are created. We are over to the quiz. I have shared this quiz with everyone. Yeah, can I have the results of the quiz? If you have not done the quiz, we can have 5 minutes. You can very well continue with the quiz first. We have received one mail for the result of quiz.
Nalisa ma'am has sent
Yeah,
the mail.
she has sent. I request everyone to please complete this quiz in 5 minutes. You don't need to think much more on this quiz. You have to give yourself marks starting from 5 till the last range is 1 mark. Regularly is the highest mark, frequently is the 4 marks, once in a while is 3 marks, rarely is 2 marks, and not at all is 1 mark. The first question is, I use social media such as LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, Pinterest, other platforms to build my brand awareness, engagement, and traffic to other websites. Number 2, I proactively engage in media outreach about our business through blogs, radios, magazines, newspapers, television. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I can clearly articulate our brand messages and speak authentically and easily about our brands. I speak at industry conferences, associations, meetings, and another expert areas. I have identified most important keyword for our business and myself, so my SEO is much higher. I have developed substantial quality of content such as blog posts, articles, ebooks, white papers. 7th, I have defined profile and characteristics of our ideal client, institutes, colleges, marketing material. I keep on updating my CV on the websites. which are very well designed and well written. I've written a number of e-books, good paper publications, self-published. I keep on publishing few things about my product, brands and services. And we have specific personal or brand, business brand. Done? I hope you all are together with this course. Okay, as we have received Mona Lisa ma'am's course, so we'll carry on with ma'am's course only.
Yes, ma'am.
My screen is visible, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So if you have scored between 10 to 17, you need to work more about your brand. You need to have more possession about your brand. You need to understand what are the functionalities of your brand and what are the setup or expand your social media efforts. If you have scored between 18 to 34, which Mona Lisa ma'am has not scored, so you need to develop more upon your steady stream, high quality content. You need to write more about your blogs. You need to write about more papers, your ebooks. You need to keep on doing your blogging and bloggers. You need to outreach yourself for monthly and quarterly online newsletters. This was ma'am's score. I think it was somewhere between more than 40. It was ranging between 40 to 50.
Yeah, it was range. It was 50. Exact 50.
Okay. So if you have scored the highest one, then again you have a scope of improvement. You know, competition never ends. You need to articulate more things in yourself. Make reporter outreach a priority. Get to know the reporters in your industry. Write a traditional book and reach out to more conferences where you are invited as a speaker. Getting edge over the competition. Make your plans confidently. Forecast your trending variables. Identify noisy places so that you are able to message, you are able to avoid all the clumsy areas. It means, so if you think that availability is something which Maruti showed, that availability is something which is not so much essential area, which is very much noisy, you can leave this availability as a parameter as of now and create your own echo chambers so that you develop more. Yeah, this is a 3-step blended methodology process wherein you can use your online tools more and more. You can have more and more digital listening, digital analytics, and keep on asking your audience that what is what is the most appropriate thing they liked about yourself, and keep on mapping your product, your brand, your service, yourself, so that you are able to pick out clear areas and the hot zones. Clear areas here means that the area which has no brands in between, whereon we were able to see that there was one quadrant which was completely vacant. So that was a complete clear areas. There are hot zones wherein you can feel that these are the two brands which are very close in competition, and you need to work upon more for your attributes. Create your own implementation strategy, how your brand is perceived, how your competition is perceived. Create a clear message for yourself that you are able to owe your brand in the competitive market. So wherein Maruti needs to work upon your its availability criteria so that it has stronger content in availability. These are few of the alerts for your upliftment. These are few of the areas which you can work upon as a professional, as a person. You can clarify and articulate your own personal brand assets. You can rewrite your biodata. You can rewrite your CV in more bold and avoid boring kind of topics there. Get in more into LinkedIn because this is a more professional link. You can create more speeds on LinkedIn. You can connect more people on LinkedIn. You can sign up for Google Alerts. You can clean up your online presence. That is by making your presence more highlighting on online platforms. You can get a new headshot. You can choose your color palette, like this is my thing, these are my attributes, and it has to be shown in this way. And at last, create your brand that sounds bites, so your brand is able to uh, clarify and create more noise, and try to spin yourself in an appropriate way so that you are able to create an appropriate brand. Thank you so much. Thank you for joining. These are my details. Please connect me on LinkedIn. I will be very much happy to connect with you on LinkedIn. And if by chance you still have any doubts, we can surely connect each other through mails or through any other social platforms. Your doubts are welcomed. If by chance you have any doubt, we can come up with the doubts now. Yes, Shiv.
Thank you, ma'am. There are no doubts in the chat section right now.
Yeah.
Still, I want to confirm with all you guys that the ma'am LinkedIn contacts and mail IDs are being shared. You can contact her in any time in case of any doubt if arises in brand mapping. And thank you so much, ma'am, for giving your precious time for Educate Consulting and MIM Cosmos.
Thank you so much. It was pleasure speaking on this platform. Thank you so much, Imangi, for inviting me and sharing up this platform. Thank you. Stay
Okay,
connected.
thank you. Yes, sure, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. And I want to. Okay, one chat box. We have a message from Rohit. So that thank you, ma'am, for the fantastic presentation and session.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you, Rohit
Okay.
sir. Yeah.
Okay, ma'am.
See you. Stay safe. Stay home. Do connect me on LinkedIn. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, ma'am.